Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. In this lecture we will talk about system of linear equations or simply linear systems, and we will also talk about solution of a linear system. First, let's define what is a linear equation. Linear equation is defined for n variables x1, x2 till xn, so n variables. For them we define a linear equation as the equation that can be expressed in the form a1x1 plus a2x2 plus till anxn equals b. You can notice here that this equation is a first degree equation, so all the variable here, all the x here are with power 1. That means that the quadratic equations, when we have, for example, a1 x2 plus an xn equals b, is not a linear equation because the power here is 2. And also equations with variables in sine x, for example, when you have a sine x plus a2 cos here x1, for example, x2 here, for example, equals b, this is also is not a linear equation. And the same for example, absolute value of x or square root of x. So that means we must have all variables with power 1. And this a here, this a1, a2 till an and b are some constants which can take any values. But this a's here must be not all 0. For example, this a1, a2 till an must be not all 0. Some of them can be zeros, but the whole a's must be different from 0. And when we have these two conditions, this a is different from 0 or are not all 0, and this x with power 1s, we call it a linear equation. So now we know what mean a linear equation. We will define what is a system of linear equations. It is simply a set of linear equations. For example, here we have 3 equations, a set of 3 linear equations, and the variables here are repeated in every equation, so they must appear in each equation, x2, 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 and x3, x3. However, the constant here, a1, 1, 2, can take any values, and they don't have to be the same in each equation of the system. And we call it a system of linear equations or simply a linear system. For example, if we have a linear system of 2x1 plus 3x2 plus x3 equals 1, for example. Here is 1, and for example, x1 plus 2x2 plus 3x3 equals 2, and 2x1, for example, minus 3x2 plus 5x3, for example, equals 0. So this is a system of linear equations with variables here x1, x2, and x3. So n here is equals 3, and the constant here are this, for example, is a11, and this 3 is a12, and a13 here is 1, and a21 here, for example, is 1, and 2 here is a22, and a23 here is 3, and 2 here is a31, and a32 here is minus 3, and a33 here is 5, and b1 here is 1, and b2 is 2, and b3 is 0. So this is an example of system of linear equations. And we define the solution of a linear system in n unknowns, x1 till xn. For example, if we have a linear system, for example, a1, 1, x1 plus a1, 2, x2 plus till a1n xn equals b1, and a21 x1 plus a22 x2 plus till a2n xn equals b2 till, if we have, for example, m equations, if we have m equations, will be a m1 x1 plus a m2 x2 plus till a mn xn equals bn. If we have, for example, this system of linear equations, we define the solution of this linear system as the sequence of n numbers s1 till sn, for which the substitution x1 equals s1 and x2 equals s2 till xn equals sn makes each equation a true statement, or verify each of these equations in the system. And we usually write this solution like that, as a tuple of s1 till sn, so it is n tuple. And the linear system may have many solutions. It may have many solutions, or it may have just one solution, and even it may not have any solution, so it may have no solution. If the system has at least one solution, we call it consistent system, and it is inconsistent if it has no solution. And the homogeneous linear system is a system where all these constant b here, all these b here are 0. For example, if we have a system of two equations, for example, x1 plus 2 x2 equals 0, and x1 or 3x1, for example, minus x2 equals 0. So this is a homogeneous linear system because the b here, the constant b here, are equals 0. And it is consistent because it has at least the tuple 0, 0 as a solution. For example, when we put 0 here, for example, this will be 0 plus 2 times 0 equals 0, and 3 times 0 minus 0 equals 0. So this is verified. That means that 0 is, or the tuple 0 is a solution for this homogeneous linear system. And this solution, this 0, 0, which is the solution for this homogeneous system, or for any homogeneous system, we have the tuple 0, 0 till n, 0 as a solution. We call it the trivial solution. Even it may have no trivial solution, it may have another solution, but this solution is called the trivial solution.